friends, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I would like to talk about the documentary that inspired me to go almost 100% secondhand in terms of clothing. So in the last 12 months, I only had one piece of clothes that is not from secondhand store, which is a gift from my husband from the past Christmas. He bought me a Patagonia sweater. I think it's a sweater. It's quite warm. So of course he knows me very well, and Patagonia is a very sustainable brand based in California, and they are using fair trade material, 100% cotton, and they are doing a lot good for the environment. So I highly recommend if you need like outdoor clothing and casual clothing. So the documentary that really inspired me was named The True Cost. It came out in 2015 and is an hour and 32 minutes long. I'm going to link in the description box below because you can watch it for free on YouTube. So if you have an hour and 30 minutes to spare in your life, please give it a try. It might inspire you and you might learn something new. So before 2015, before the documentary came out, I was already thrifting. I was already very aware of global warming and trying to live a sustainable life. But the documentary was really eye-opening to me, and the things that I learned is just like it was huge. So it kind of covered 4 huge areas, and the first one is cotton farming. For example, it interviewed a cotton farmer in the US, how people are just getting cancer because the company Monsanto is controlling the seeds and also all the spray, and you have to spray very heavily for the non-organic cotton, and because people live by the farm and they get cancer in their 50s and die. And also the documentary went to visit a cotton village in India. People are so sick over there, and so many children are born with disability and deficit. It got me every time. I watched this documentary a few times, and every time I cry when it comes to that part. It's just so heartbreaking. Those cotton farmers, but that's their only income, even though they have all these consequences, they're barely making a living, but they still have to farm. It's so sad. The third area they're covering is the manufacturing condition, the safety measurements, the labor law issues, and in local, for example, it's in Bangladesh and Cambodia, like the buildings collapse and a few hundred people die, fire hazards, and I saw infants sleeping under right next to the sewing machine when the mother is working. The next big area, the last one I think, is pollution. As the documentary mentioned, fast fashion or fashion is the second most polluting industry in the world, right after oil. And that's mind-blowing because, we think there are many other industries that's worse, because fashion, we don't see it. Most people like us, we never visit a sweatshop. We never see how clothes were dyed. Like jeans, is blue, is black, is gray, is red, and because it's all like most of clothes were had dyed or different colors and all that, and that's polluting all ocean and all rivers, and the transportation and the cotton farms and all that. It's really mind-blowing. And of course, it also covered the over-consuming culture in the developed countries, right? So people just keep buying, as buying is the only solution to their stress, or the only habit they have, or the only thing they do when they hang out with friends. And we might think, we donated our clothes, right? Like US, averagely, people wasted 8 pounds of clothing every year, and they donate to Goodwill and they think that fixes the problem. It's actually not, because Goodwill only sells 10% of the clothes and the rest is just shredded or burned or went to landfill or shipped to a third world country. If you watch the documentary, you can, you'll find out it's actually not very good for the local economy. So with all the problems and issues, fashion, or most importantly, fast fashion, brings to us, what can we do as a global citizen, as an individual? I think we can do in those 4 areas. First is be very mindful of every decision we make in terms of clothing. What brand do you support? Where do you buy? How often do you buy? And what kind of materials they use? How transparent they are? Did they accept the interview for those documentaries? How they treat the workers? Is it fair trade? And secondly, I think we need to be resilient and be smart to the marketing strategies the fast fashion companies have. For example, when they send those feeds into our social media page, like, buy this dress, looks so good. Are we ever going to look this good like in those models? Of course not. We don't have this body. We're not starving ourselves to look like that. And there is probably 100 people behind this picture, because there's professional makeup artist, hair artist, and professional photographer, $5,000 cameras, and the lighting professionals, and I don't know, whatever, stylist and all that. And we don't have all that. Of course, we're never going to look like that just because we buy that piece of article. They cannot, don't let them fool us. And the fast fashion company, they have 54 seasons instead of 4 seasons, because every week they have something new coming out, because they want you to buy. They tell you only look good if you buy this, and then you buy it. The next week they come like, oh, that's actually out of style, you should buy this. This is what is trendy. And then they send all these free clothes to those influencers, YouTubers, to have them try them on camera and how good they're looking and all that. And lastly, second last, I think it's important to find our true authentic style, because when you have your own style, we're not going to just follow what's trendy, right? Like at this moment, because I have a style, I want to stick to my style. I know what colors works good on me, what style works on me, and I know this trendy stuff is not going to last, so I don't want it in my closet. And lastly, try to build an eco-friendly, sustainable closet or wardrobe with patience, because we can't build a wardrobe, just overnight or in a month. It took me 5 to 10 years to have a closet that I love. Like, if I go to my closet, every single piece of clothes I like with no regret, and I can probably like blindfold and pick out like a top, a pants, and they probably will go together very well, because I tend to mostly only neutral colors and colors that works well on me, and the stuff that goes almostly with everything. So give that a try. And at the very end, I want to promote a few brands that I think we should support. First of all is Patagonia, of course, but for like this French brand called Sezane, is Sezane. I don't know if I pronounced it right. It's just so pretty, and it has this French effortless chic style. I actually love everything on that website. Those brands are a little bit more expensive, and because they use fair trade materials, they use organic cotton, and they treat their workers very well, and some of them are like made in the countries they're based in, so not in those sweatshops. I'm not against having things made in other countries. It's just they need to trade well, with good conditions, with fair pay. The other brand is like People Tree. I'm going to add all the links in the description box below, so you can check them out. Alright, So this is the story behind me going secondhand clothing almost 100%. I hope it gives you some context and some inspiration, and together we can save the planet. Alright, thank you so much for watching today. I will see you next time. Bye bye.